In this lesson, I'm going to prepare and organize the illustration for animation, and I'm going to recolor and edit bits and pieces. And then I'll create a silhouette based off the character's shape to use for the shade. So this isn't a lesson on how to draw and animate, just a little go-through of how the graphics behave in the software. I drew my character in Illustrator, and that works well for importing into Animate. All you need to do is drag it onto the stage and it will remain a vector shape if you want to. You get some options here, and I would avoid importing it as a bitmap image since I have some final touches I want to do here in Animate. Also because I'm going to create a sort of a stencil for the shade based on the character's silhouette, and having it as an adjustable vector object is going to make that a lot easier. Of course, you could draw your illustration straight in Animate instead and skip the importing part. Or you could trace over a hand-drawn image. There are plenty of good tutorials on how to draw in Animate, or Flash if you like. Since I'm not going to be animating any character movement, I could have imported the illustration in any file format, but then I would have to trace the silhouette by hand, and that would take more time than what we're going to do now. Now I've noticed the character's hair is black, and I want to change that so that highlights will show in the hair when animating the shade. So I'm going to change it to a lighter color, maybe brown. And as you can see, there's a bounding box around the shape. That means this is set as its own symbol, similar to a comp in After Effects. If I double click, I'll enter the symbol, and you can see there's a few layers in here, hiding some graphics which are revealed if you unlock these layers. I won't do anything in here. If I double click on the stage, I'll go back to the main scene. I'll right click and choose Break Apart. That removes the symbol property, and I'll remove this red bounding box. And instead, the illustration is divided into different objects. And this is fine. Now I can double click the different parts and make the changes I want. So to change the hair color, I'll double click on the hair and go down to the color selection and choose a rusty reddish color. Notice that my selection here is only a fill, so the strokes made in Illustrator are its separate objects. And soon you'll see that they aren't strokes anymore, but filled shapes instead. Now I want the hair in the back to have the same type of stroke as the rest of the character, so I'll make sure the stroke color is set to black and use the ink bottle tool to place that color on the edge of the hair. And it was pure luck that the stroke width matched the rest of the strokes. If it wasn't already, I'd set the width over here. I don't want this line to cross right here, so I'll try to correct this. So I'll double click into this shape, and selecting the eraser tool, E on your keyboard, I'll carefully remove this line. And I'll go to the other side and erase this line as well. With the direct selection tool, I can try to refine this line a bit by adjusting its anchor points. In Animate, you can delete anchor points without breaking the shape. I'll erase this part of the object behind that's showing through a little. You can adjust this shape with the selection tool, V on your keyboard. Just by moving the cursor close to the edge, I can drag out and curve the edge just to fill that gap. There might be some small adjustments, but I think you have a good enough overview on how to edit your vector-based artwork in Animate. Lastly, for this lesson, I'm going to make a filled-in silhouette that will be the base for us when animating the shade. This step is for anyone who's planned to make an animation with a lot of shadow, like mine, where the shade will move from covering the whole character to revealing a little bit of light. I'll do this by duplicating the layer, which gives me two illustrations. I'll lock the original layer and make the copy into a black silhouette. Select all the shapes, right-click and break apart, and color the new shape to a black. Remember we created a stroke for the hair? I'll just delete those strokes because I want the silhouette to be a solid shape. Now you should have two layers, one containing your original illustration and one with a filled copy looking like a black silhouette. And then we're ready for the next lesson, where we're going to plan out how our light will move in the scene.